My name is Shan Whitten. I am a registered veterinary nurse, and today I'll be talking to you about a project that I designed and carried out as part of my honours degree, which was the effect of pet remedy on feline stress related behaviours in a rescue centre. Initially, I would just like to declare a potential conflict of interest. Just to state that I do have an affiliation with Pet Remedy by Unix Designs, but this extended to the company supplying me with products to test as well as my placebo, and as well as offering me friendly guidance and advice through the development of this project. So through this presentation, I'm going to discuss my project in a little bit more detail. Firstly, starting with the rationale behind why I thought it was worthwhile to conduct my project aims, the methodology I created, and then finally ending with the results I gained and the conclusions I can draw from those results. In the UK, we see a high turnover of cats coming into rescue shelters. In 2019 alone, the RSPCA saw over 29,000 individuals admitted, and Cats Protection 41,000. And unfortunately, rescue centres, despite what work we can do, they are a stressful place. There are new sounds, new smells, new routines for cats to get used to, as well as new people and cats sharing their space. And these can lead to an increase in anxiety and stress, which, when experienced for a chronic period of time, can result in behavioural changes such as becoming more reclusive, or the opposite end where we see fear aggression develop, or physiological changes, especially in relation to heart issues or renal and bladder problems as well. And overall, this can lead to a reduction in welfare due to the deterioration in mental and physical well-being of these cats. So now that we've identified potential problems, we need to try and find a solution to avoiding this potential reduction in welfare for these cats. And one such solution is Pet Remedy, which is marketed as a natural de-stress and calming spray. It is valerian based, and research suggests that it has the ability to trigger the GABA aminobutyric acid pathway, which is basically the body's natural mechanism to create a feeling of calm. So the GABA aminobutyric acid, or GABA, is a neurotransmitter that works on this pathway, and Pet Remedy claims that their product can imitate this neurotransmitter and then be able to bring about a sense of natural calm through the body's own mechanisms. And this product is available as sprays, wipes, and diffusers. Largely, their administration route is through inhalation, which means that the product should work instantly, as it will be inhaled and then going straight into the bloodstream and straight into the body, and therefore should create an immediate but gentle calming effect that will hopefully reduce anxiety, and therefore possibly has the ability of improving welfare. So when setting up this project, there were a couple of aims that I wanted to be able to answer. The first being whether Pet Remedy has any kind of effect on feline stress-related behaviours, and following on from that one to determine whether Pet Remedy can in fact reduce the occurrence of stress-related behaviours. So in order to be included in this study, participants had to first be at least 12 months old. This was to try and reduce any possible outliers in data caused by younger individuals having an improved ability of managing and adapting to change. Our participants had to be housed individually in their respective kennels and couldn't have any known history of pre-existing illnesses such as heart conditions and renal issues, both of which could be exacerbated by this project. All participants had to have been in their kennel for at least 24 hours prior to testing. This was done with the aim to try and test more chronic stress levels as opposed to the initial acute levels of stress that would likely be experienced upon admittance to one of these shelters. And all results were collected across 3 different shelters. All 3 shelters were cat-based, and none used any anti-anxiety remedies such as Pet Remedy, Fellaway, etc. During the time of this testing to reduce the chances of those products affecting results. So by the end of this project, I had managed to gather data from 46 participants in total, and these were sorted randomly into one of 3 groups. They could either be the control, the placebo, which was deionized water, or they could be exposed to Pet Remedy. So testing across all 3 shelters was not always done in the same order. We started with the control first for all of them. However, the order between whether to test Pet Remedy or the placebo first was switched to make sure that this wasn't just down to order. And this study was designed to be blinded. So this involved using identical treatment bottles, randomly labelled 1 or 2 by a separate third party, so I didn't know the contents of either, as well as scent blocking. So as shown in the image there, it might be a bit small, but I had a nasal scent blocker, and over and above that, I wore a mask with a drop of albus oil to help mask any determining scent, as Pet Remedy does have a very particular smell that would be identifiable. And all scoring took place outside of the kennel. This was duly first to reduce the stress to the participant by my presence, so I tried to keep my space for their sake. But also, as we mentioned, Pet Remedy works on the GABA pathway in the body, and as humans we too have this pathway, so keeping my space also helped improve or rather reduce the risks that the product was affecting me rather than the patient. So for this project I utilised the Kessler and Turner 1997 CAT stress score, which appraises 11 aspects of body posture or behaviour and prompts you to assign a grade of stress from 1 to 7, where 1 is fully relaxed and 7 was absolutely terrified. After scoring these 11 components, I then added their scores together for a total score out of 77. So testing commenced. First, once I had found a suitable participant, the pre-treatment respiration rates and stress scores were recorded. I also kept a record of the participant ID, what centre we were in, the breed of the cat, the age, gender, neutering status, and then finally what treatment they were being exposed to. Respiration rates were taken by counting breaths over 15 seconds and then multiplying by 4 to give an overall breaths per minute. And as previously discussed, stress scores were taken to give us a grade out of 77. After this, treatment was applied. Treatment was applied alongside the evening meal to reduce the number of disturbances to the participants, and a swab applied with one of the treatments was placed within 30 centimetres of the participant. I will say that for the control, no swab was given, only the evening meal was given for that group. And then once exposed, we waited for 30 minutes before recording a post-respiration rate and stress score. And this was, my post-treatment page was printed on the opposite side of my pre-treatment to make sure that I couldn't see the previous scores and couldn't be influenced by them. Statistical analysis was performed on the change to respiration rate or stress score, and we employed a confidence interval of 95%. So results initially were tested using an analysis of variance or an ANOVA, and this would determine whether there was any statistical significance between my three groups, being the control, the placebo, and pet remedy. Following on from this, if statistical significance was noted, then a post hoc Chuki would be performed, which would then determine where that significance lay. So for our results section, starting with our respiration rates, we can see the mean difference between our groups just in the top left of the slide there, with pet remedy showing a mean of -8 for respiration rate, while the control and the placebo both had varying degrees of increases in this area. So upon testing with the ANOVA, which produced a p-value of 0.001. So that told me that there was a significant difference between these groups somewhere. So after conducting the post hoc Chuki, we can see that there is significant difference between pet remedy and the control, as well as pet remedy and the placebo. However, there was no statistical significance between the control and the placebo. Therefore, we can conclude that pet remedy is significantly different from both the control and the placebo. In a similar fashion, we tested our stress scores. So again, here our mean value for pet remedy was a score of -11.5, with the control being -1.7 and the placebo being an increase of 1.5. Once again, the ANOVA was found to be significantly different, and following on from our post hoc Chuki, again, we've got significant difference between pet remedy and the control, and pet remedy and the placebo. However, there is no statistical difference in the results between the control and the placebo groups. So therefore, we can conclude that pet remedy it significantly differs from the control and the placebo in regards to stress score. What these results allow us to conclude: firstly, those participants exposed to pet remedy exhibited significantly reduced respiration rates as opposed to a placebo and the control. And participants that were exposed to pet remedy also exhibited significantly reduced stress scores. So adding these in together, we can conclude that therefore, pet remedy is capable of reducing feline stress-related behaviours in a rehoming centre. Thank you so much for showing an interest in my project and coming along to listen to what I did. I would just like to take a wee second to thank the staff of SRUC who provided unwavering support and guidance throughout the duration of this project.